Metapod Uses Harden, Britain's revolutionary punk scene of the 90s. They've got some outrageous songs, and I've got to say they're pretty damn contagious. 3 years at the top and 3 years at the bottom. A tale of sexuality and other misgivings or misdeeds. Metapod Uses Harden!
Metapod Uses Harden!
The Emmy goes to Metapod Uses Harden.
Metapod Uses Harden!
Stories from the tour that made the band famous.
What, are you okay? Mate, I fucking shat on the windy. You know, I wanna come and see, like... You did what? What the fucking hell?
With commentary from legendary manager Zak Ross.
Yes, I met Metapod Uses Harden and I became their manager shortly afterwards, and I have to say, some of the antics that they got up to, I mean, they were really quite outrageous.
Multi-Grammy award-winning Metapod Uses Harden. The punk band from the Highlands that made it to the big time. Okay, it's a great pleasure to be here with singer Robert King. Please tell me, Robert, what was it like to create the band?
But I knew that you would go right in it. Sorry, what?
I was gonna say, what was it like to create the band?
Yeah, the story begins upon a mountaintop. Well, a small hill. And the mists of Avalon were swirling around me like some kind of dream. And out of the mist there strode this woman, the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen, coming down in all these glittering, shiny kind of... Oh wait, what was the question? Was it not...
What was it like starting the band?
Oh wait, I thought you asked how I lost my virginity. Well, we started the band. It was really like basically a message from God. This song is a message from God. We can't believe it, but we're the chosen ones. This song is a message from God. I got it on my iPad even though they haven't invented them. That was a snippet of a song that's a Lost Archive song that we're releasing on a special record next month. It was from 1994. Anyway, that was a message from God. Actually, that was talking about the days that we started the band, of thinking about making this kind of retrospective album, mainly with just vocals and some little hitting stuff, like percussion. That's the one. No, yeah.
Okay, we're delighted to catch up with Finn now to see what he thought it was like creating the band.
Well, basically, what starts off with most other people, we were pretty much sitting around drinking at a party, and we all thought, hey, let's get a band together, guys. Like, let's do it. And of course, it's a fucking brilliant idea. Of course.
Oh, is that... Would you be able to tell us a bit more?
You want me to say more?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Great if you could just tell
In for the long haul, aren't we? Fucking great.
I'm sorry.
Right. Metapod Uses Harden was, of course, it was the best years of my life, yada yada. I played guitar in it. I managed to learn how to do a sweep pick, so that pretty much got me the opportunity to do that. Obviously, there was also the opportunity to park a few chicks, so we were well up for that.
Longer. Nevertheless, they got what they came for. One of the biggest hippie happenings ever. The power of pop had made it a memorable happening, as they say.
It really is just incredible. This band is such an illustrious catalogue behind them. The tours, the mishaps, it's just incredible. Now we're here to talk with Dean, the drummer of the band. And Dean, so tell me please, what did it feel like to join the band?
It's a good question. I mean, I wasn't even a drummer. I mean, not really. I mean, I just what happened was I was making dinner one time and Finn was over. You know, the guitarist. And that, like, I knew Finn for ages. You know, about 17 years or something. And I was making dinner with the pans and that, like, and I just hit it by mistake. You know, and Finn was like, he just looked up at me, and I just knew what he meant. I just knew it. And we started a jazz band. That was shite. So then we started a heavy metal band, and I was like, well, heavy metal's not even anything yet. You know, that's 2000 that comes out, so we won't go for that. What did we go for anyway, Finn? Well, it's not here. Probably some punk stuff. I think it was really punk what we went for. I liked it, but I mean, some of it was just shite. Like, you know, a lot of it I thought we cut out of the albums, but no. It turns out actually no, a lot of it was there. I mean, there's a few different changes in the band members. I mean, actually thinking back, they were all the same every single time. But maybe that's the cocaine. It's going to no, they didn't change actually. Fucking come on now, come on. Are you taking the piss with that photo? Like, who's that in the background? Like?
So please tell me about Robert. What was it like having Robert as a lead vocalist?
Robert was a fucking legend, that's for sure. You know, we were pals for a good while. You know, growing up, met him when we were rocking out. You know, he was a bit of a hairy, kind of weird-looking person, so we kind of got on pretty well. And basically, had this tape, right? He had this fucking wee ginger tape that he had made, and he took it round for us to listen to. There was just something about it. He had this wailing scream at the end of this song called Fang Mamba, and it was this kind of note that was excruciating. It lasted maybe about 40 seconds, such raw emotion. So without further ado, I was like, well, fucking hell, who else are you going to pick for the band? You know, I mean, that's what was that? Did he say something there? That was about it for me anyway. I was like, get him in the wagon, right? We're packing up the gear now. Chuck the cunt in the back. So that was about that for Robert, man. He just pretty much proved himself from then on. You know, every gig was like, if he didn't set his hair on fire, I mean, he must have gone through about 15 dreads in his first fucking 2 weeks, you know. And that was pretty awesome. So we stick with that, you know. I wasn't going to change it up.
Okay, so you were telling me you had some problems drinking to start with. Would you like to tell me about that?
Well, you know, we were pretty heavy on it. And with that territory comes the ultimate weighty. So eventually, you know, Robert spewed his fucking ringer all over the bus, and it was pretty heavy. So kind of stunk the place out. He's a bit of a cunt for it, but hang on a second. Oh my god. Oh no. That's not normal, man. That's not normal. No, I'll be back next week. Right, I'll come back next week. No, I'm not sticking around for a minute. That fucking I don't know what that was, right? I don't know, and I don't want to know, right? I'll be back next week. Right, yeah, see you later, fuckers, man. Right, well, I'm back now, so, what is it? 1 p.m, we've got about 2 hours to do this, and then I've got to get the fuck out, back on the road again, so, right, that thing isn't in here, is it? Whatever it was last time, it's not, you got rid of it, right? Okay. People thought he was had an ego. I didn't see it.
Alright, now we caught up with Dean to talk about Robert. What do you think, Dean? What do you got to say?
Well, the thing about Robert is, you know, I think I said this in the last take, actually, you know, he used to wear rubber heels in the 80s and paint his nails and that, you know, but, I mean, he's come a long, long way from there, you know. Give him credit where his credit is due, and the credit is where it's at the moment, because he's got a bank balance as well, and it's, I mean, you know, credit where credit's due. There's credit in his bank balance, so he's done well for the band, from the band, for the band, and from the band. I mean, some of the lyrics that he just came out, I mean, it's just shite and good at the same time, because there's good, I mean, no, Sorry, that's me contradicting myself there again. Because it's bad, it's so good. You know, so many idiots just connect with it, and then there's some good ones as well. You know that they get mixed up in the wrong crowd. But I mean, Robert really he takes it from the next level to the next level, and then to. Remember, right? Okay. So I mean, see when I'm just like sitting there at the back, you know, in a gig. I don't. I'm not the personality of the band. You know, I'm just fucking hitting near the pans. You know, mind when I said, you know, I was just a pan man before. You know, just making a meal and got dragged into all this. And I'm just looking at this guy, frizzy hair, fucking something else, and then there's so many transformations. You know, what is that? He's got a hat on. Doesn't have a hat on. He's got fucking shit round his neck. He's trying. What's he doing? He's not even a guitarist. Why has he got a guitar now? I mean, it's just like, well, he's a god. There's a god in front. He's got the light is shining, making a silhouette of this man, and it's just amazing.
Okay, we're back here with Robert to talk about other members in the band. I'd like to start with Finn, Robert. If you could, just tell me what it was like to hang around with Finn. What was he like as a person?
Finn was... Oh, sorry, it was a bit close there. No, wait, just like, it made my ears go weird. He was really into cats in like a way that was not really healthy. Wait, the purple bit's not appearing on the screen. What's going on there? Is there anyone in this studio? Sorry, everyone went out. I made a cup of... Everyone went out. I don't know. There's like people there. Yeah. Hello. Oh man, it's just like old days, man. Oh my god. Sorry. So what time is it now? Anyway, Finn was like, he was a great guitarist, really. Like, you couldn't have wished for anything. Where did you get that from, man? It's like, oh my god. Look, you might have to do this interview another day. Like, Finn was, he was special, man. I mean, sometimes he could play a guitar solo for 2.5 hours, which was mainly by then we had to finish a gig, even though it was the first song, but people loved it. I mean, guitarists in the audience loved it. Well, I mean, most of them hated him for being so good, but if they didn't hate him, they also loved him. I mean, there was that time they stormed the stage, and he ended up in A&E for 3 months, but we don't tend to talk about... I signed a thing to say I wouldn't talk about that. Anyway, yeah, let's listen. The main thing I want to say about him is he's a standard awesome geezer, and even though he's from... I'm from Scotland, innit? Wait, can we cut that? Anyway, yeah, he's brilliant, like good at doing stuff. I can't tell a fret from a bleeding string, you know me? So yeah, it's just like fantastic bit of like second best member in the band. Ugh, fuck it. What I'm talking about. How about this is a story. 1, 2, 3, 4. He had shit for brains. He had shit for brains. He didn't have a brain. He had shit.
Well, I mean, what can I say that Shit for Brains already hasn't said, you know? I mean, I always thought that Robert wrote that song about me, actually. I mean, I always remember that time that Finn came round to my house when I was cooking, and I dropped the pan. He just made me the fucking drummer. It was more about the prostitute he took along with him, though, into my kitchen, because by the time we were finished with her, I was highly addicted to Metapod Uses Harden. I mean, like I said, Finn, every time he came, he always seemed to have a... Was that just me going out and getting a girl? No. He always seemed to have a girl, like, with him. And I always used... No, I definitely actually got her myself. No, he wouldn't have... He would have pumped her himself, like... I'm confused. It's not enough drugs in this house anymore, you know. My bank balance isn't that good anymore, you know, with not being in the band, so... Finn. I mean, one time we were like round the back, and just chinging up, man, and it was just ridiculous. Why am I? It's just all about drugs now. Sorry.
Now, since the last time that we talked to Finn, he sort of disappeared for 6 months. We couldn't had a trace of him, so it really slowed down the documentary process. But when we found him, he was in a bit of a deluded state, and he wouldn't really comment on what had happened and why, but we managed to get a bit more of an interview out of him about Dani.
Well, me and Dani have been friends for a good few years, and we were quite into the bevy, so we did a lot of fucking stuff. I'm sorry, look, really, you've not caught me on the best day. Can we retry tomorrow or something? You're expecting me to talk about Metapod Uses Harden like this is the first time I've had a fucking interview. I'm sick of it, you know. I'm fucking bored of talking about Metapod Uses Harden. How much are you paying me for this?
You're gonna get about $5,000.
Dani was great, you know. He was spot on. As I said, you know, he couldn't really play bass very well, but he could hold down a D. And when we played the Isle of Wight Festival, he had to hold it down for 60 minutes. And I said to him after it, you know, mate, we just fucking headlined Isle of Wight, and you played D really well.
Well, I mean, what can I say about Dani that the other band members haven't already said about Dani? I mean, I remember one time I think he broke his record and drank 7 bottles of Captain Morgan's one night, and I mean, I maybe helped him a wee bit, like with the 8th, but we went round the back and we chinged up as well, and I think it was off of some lassie's bum. Anyway. He was a top quality lad. Like, I mean, he kept on going on about this fucking bass being an instrument, man, and it was doing our nuts in. I mean, even the drums are an instrument, not bass, though. I mean, no, come on now. But I mean, he used to get so inebriated that he'd actually start getting into time on the gigs. You know, he was better when he was pissed because he didn't know what he was doing when he was sober anyway. So, no, he's a top quality lad. You know, he had something between his ears, but I mean, he still didn't know what 4 + 4 was. I mean, I don't either, but I'm not trying to say I'm a genius or anything. You know.
All right, okay, Robert. You're here with us as well. What do you have to say about Dani?
Dani, well, he was the bass player, right? But, well, no one really expects the bass player to be able to play bass. Well, I mean, who can actually play bass? It's not really like an instrument, is it? It's like a cheap this sort of guitar thing that's got less strings, and they're really big and heavy. But anyway, I like, as a person though, well, he was a bit of a drunk, but to be honest, so was the rest of us. So, I mean, it was only that time that he was going through 3 bottles of Morgans a day. In fact, he drank so much Morgans that the actual Captain Morgan came and hunted him down and said he was running him out of supply. Although we weren't quite sure if it was the real Captain Morgan when we saw that there was a label in his pirate hat that said Edinburgh Joke Shop, so we kind of didn't take him seriously then. What was I on about? Sorry, I like.
It's the bass player, mate.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm just a bit spaced because all your wallpaper's different colours on different walls, and it's like that's confusing, man. Because like I'm trying to work out if is that red and blue. Man, I'm getting flashbacks. Yeah. Oh my. Don't talk to me about that. I don't like it. Look. Dani was a nice bloke, really. He liked his cheese sandwiches as well, which is at least something that's not alcohol, so he did survive. Although it was a real shame to hear that he passed away last year after what? He's not dead. Oh no, he moved to Leeds. That was it. I knew it was something like that. Anyway, I confiscated his bass once because I got sick of him telling me it was actually an instrument. But yeah, top quality geezer in it, Matt. Yeah. Where's my fucking where's that gone? What? What's going on? No, mate. Fuck. Still don't feel well. So start right. Fuck. I can't play more today. Right, let's go. We've got to stop pretty soon. Okay, can we stop now, please?
So I'd been speaking to a few of the other band members, and they were telling me that originally, before Dean was in the band, there was a drummer called Stephen. Would you like to tell me about him?
Well, Stephen was a good dude, you know. Couldn't have asked for any better person to be behind the kit, you know. He was a fair bit of clout, you know. That's what we were looking for. But as it happened, we were touring around somewhere that we shouldn't be, up in the Highlands, and there was this rabble of people that were quite into the old asphyxiation, and well, between the dildo and the asphyxiation, I don't think it did very well. The police were involved. Thanks to my criminal record, I got pretty heavily involved in it, even though I wasn't there at the time. But I managed to get clear. Stephen, unfortunately, bless his soul, passed on. But we have immortalised the dildo, and it's above my shelf in my living room now.
Well, we caught up with some of the other band members to talk about Dean, the drummer, and what it was like having him in the band.
Dean, well, he could pull a trick or two out of his sleeve. Like, he could pull a drumstick out of his sleeve. He could pull a condom out of his sleeve, although he didn't employ that when he got the 9 different women pregnant over the course of one tour. But he changed his ways after that, I have to say, and he mainly did. But anyway, he was under investigation from the Magicians Union for use of magic, so he stopped pulling stuff out of his sleeves and just got on with drumming, at which he was very good. So I have to say that I approved of that move. Although he did tend to sometimes. It would be a bit annoying if we had to do like an acoustic number or something where he wasn't drumming, because he'd just pull some bird off the audience and get her to come round back of the drums, and they'd be at it while we were like trying to play a sweet little acoustic song. Everyone was waving their lighters, and you know, he could hear it over the top because he always picked the screamers, he did. So I don't know. Anyway, it was like fantastic at like hitting shit, which basically is what drummers do. Yeah, it's a shame about Stephen, but he couldn't hit shit for shit really, so it all worked out in the end. Yeah, we had a laugh. We sat on a rabbit once, but we didn't let that didn't let that change my view of him at all.
Dean, well, he was fucking awesome, you know. He invented that whole dunka thing, and, well, without a shadow of a doubt, he put the hard on into Harden. I'm pretty sure at one point he was parking his way through 5 minutes a day, and that was common. That was common in the old Metapod Uses Harden days. Did anyone tell you that he he was put under some sort of gamma ray when he was younger, and that's how the whole Doonka Doonka thing happened. Should I talk about that?
No, yes, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please do tell.
Alright. Well, basically, I don't know what year it was. I mean, I'm not his fucking mother, but there was some kind of radioactive dispersal in Kirk, and I think he got stuck in it one day, and it when it exploded, and it gave him this sort of irradiated sort of goo that was around him, and I think that might have been how he got this sort of robotic connection or something. I think that's how it kind of worked, but it certainly worked for Metapod Uses Harden. You know, like I said, we wouldn't be the same without him.
Yeah, I'm sure. And do you have one other story you'd like to tell me about?
Right, well, basically we were fucking flat out broke, and we were trekking our way through Britain, making our way up the country, and we had absolutely no money to get any kind of drugs at all, so that just, we weren't happy with that, basically. So we figured out that every single time you chuff one off into a wee juggy and you send it to the labs will pay you an adequate account for your dosage of spank, right? So basically we were hand spanking simultaneously daily into a cup and sending it away, and we were getting the money back. And we figured out that if we kept doing that, potentially we could make an average wage. However, if you also add on your feces to that and you send that to the labs as well, well, you can rack up a fair price, I tell you. And we were about, 25k a year. Even if it was some sort of a biological hazard.
We now disclose that they didn't take crack.
I want to fuck you! You know you want it too! Good! I'm going to floor you! I'll floor the fucking floor too! Good! Oh baby, can you feel my gut? Oh baby, we can fucking shake the earth! Oh pretty baby, let me do my stuff! Oh baby, I've got gut! What you waiting for? Let's get down to it! Good. What you waiting for? Let's do this shit! Good. Oh baby, can you feel my good? Oh baby, we can fucking shake the earth! Oh pretty baby, let me do my stuff! Oh baby, I've got gun! I got a gun for you! Let's break the beds! That's what we'll do! Until we're dead! What else are we supposed to do? Go for the fucking multiply to the fucking Lord. He wasn't talking about fucking maths, was he?
So yeah, just here now to talk a little bit about Metapod Uses Harden. We have Dani Atkins on bass. We have Dean Kernaghan, or as I like to say, Kernaghan on drums. Finn Creaney on guitar. And Robert King on vocals. So here's a few stories about them. Now, I was just thinking about the times when we were booking shows for them, and we were actually playing in front of about 50,000 audience member venues. Sorry, I say we, I say them. It's just, the old days of when I was playing in a band. And anyway, yes, so booking them, it was quite difficult at first, but once we got up there, the 50,000, you know, the audience members were really quite good and participating in a lot of the songs, especially Feel My Girth, because you can really appreciate that if you've got quite a stubber and you're getting in with the women, you know, like they're obviously going to be passing that on to like their fellow women or groupies, and you get a bit of a name for yourself and you're parking 15 to the dozen in a week or so, you know. So I mean, the venues they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then at one point I think they were playing in front of about 500,000, and it was a Rock in Rio concert around July the 29th, 1992, possibly. I might be wrong. It was 92 or 93. It's so long ago now. But anyway, yes, they've had their glory and success with their album sales. The first album name, Fuck Me Sideways, got around 20 million sales, and I think it went platinum at one stage. And Dave Mustain was actually quite on board with it himself. He really admired the eccentric acts of the whole lot of them, because he was quite heavily on the cocaine and the heroin at the time, kind of thing, you know. He was quite spaced out. Yes, we've talked about various things. Dani being involved with alcoholism. He was chugging about 3 bottles of Captain Morgan's easily over the space of around 8 hours or something like that. So trying to like manage the band and keeping them compass mentis wasn't always a gimme. Sometimes Dani would stand there with his bass and there'd actually be bass guitar already recorded playing over that, because he was just fucking wandering around the stage and then fucking ambling around in a sort of hectic manner. Dean with the women, yes, he's had a lot of women there, probably parking around 10 a night or something like that. Finn just loves the cats. He's probably got about 50 cats sitting at his home, you know. And Robert, being a bit of an ecomaniac, he can just be really up himself sometimes, you know. And I don't know, it's hard to like you know, you're part of the band, you're not the band, kind of thing, you know. And Dean, actually, one last final wee story, he actually clogged up a toilet. He went for a Jerry Jade, which is sort of Cockney ragging term for shite, and actually about 17 flushes, and it was fucking blocked. Had to get a plunger on board, son, you know.
Badger on the road from Romford to Chigwell. He looked like a dodgy character. I didn't trust him. His sex causing to peel off the skin. Then he takes your face to his evil kitchen. He's got a big frying pan and a rack of spice. A splash of salt and pepper to make it taste nice. What's that in the headlights? Oh no! You'll be next. The nose is favourite. He doesn't leave salt, especially if you had a lot of snot. He'll fry your eyeballs and put them on cocktail sticks while on looking captives are shitting bricks. He's gonna eat your face, but he won't stop there. He wants other people's faces. He's got a feast to prepare. He wants all your friends.
I have found a band that I love, and they're called
Metapod.
I think it's
Metapod Uses Harden.
and there's 4 of them, and they play guitar,
vocals, drums, and sort of bass.
So I heard them in a big hotel in Birmingham, Sheffield, where was I? I'm trying to see it. Birmingham. And they're great. The girl plays the guitar. Sounds terrible. Guitar, banjo and stuff. And I saw them on my computer doing, the guy did a solo with 2 mobile phones. He I don't know what he did to them to get them both live and facing each other, and anyway. And they started to feed back, and he played it.
I'll tell you, one of the bands that really influenced me the most is
Metapod Uses Harden.
I was growing up, I really liked
Metapod Uses Harden.
I still like their style of music, and I still like
Metapod Uses Harden.
more than any other band.
Well, with the dramatic highs, there are also dramatic lows. And we're going to go into a little bit about that now. It kind of all started off in Ireland, funnily enough, when the band cancelled a headline show because Finn hurt his toe. And there was a lot of rioting, and we'll play some of the footage for you in a second. And that basically began the quick deterioration. Not long after that, Robert began talking about his language and trying to sing about Atlantis, and that was a definite beginning of things to come for the band. We'll let you hear it now.
Yeah, so it was around this time that Robert started speaking in his own language. I'm not really entirely sure what he was waffling on about. I couldn't put it down as like Sanskrit or Yiddish or Hebrew or something. It was just altogether out there. But for some reason, I don't know if it was due to like alcohol and drugs or maybe just sort of vagaries of where they were actually wanting to head. The other band members seemed to kind of like go along with it and just sort of enhance Robert's randomness. But if you're a paying member of a CD, you don't particularly want to be going along and listening to a bunch of gibberish. I mean, you can watch fucking MTV if you want to have that carry on. Do you know what I mean? So Robert was continuing with his gibberish. I mean, it was perfectly in key. Don't get me wrong. The guitar work was spot on. Drums, as usual, fine. Bass playing, not bad. I couldn't get it at all, man.
Hey, I was listening to him when I was a boy. I don't think the shit.
It was the one true language of Atlantis. Of that, I have no doubt now. I've done my research. I even like sent a letter to the guy from Wikipedia, and he didn't reply, but I'm pretty sure that I know that's what it was. I had a sign and I had to sing the ancient messages of lore and learning to the ignorant people today.
Oh, Roby Party no Ray, Scooey Nolly Go Show Marty Robo, Skangy Nudie Sharky Ruby Day. Oh, Ratu no Scubby no Jay, Skangy Doodle Wombangy Row, Scotty Road to no Joggy Dingle War, Skingangu Barney Row. During the last 3 months of the band's lifetime, they tried everything. They even tried to speak Japanese, but when they were thrown out of Japan for talking only nonsense and gobbledygook, that was the final straw. They tried to sail across the Pacific Ocean in a bathtub. Unfortunately, they had to be rescued by the Coast Guard just off China when they got in the bath. This was all the beginning of the downhill journey.
Maybe it was the pressure of the press. Perhaps it was the jet lag. Whatever, it took just one reporter and a simple greeting, "Welcome to Bangkok," for the pop star to lose that Icelandic cool.
Thank you. Welcome to Bangkok.
The British-born journalist was more stunned than injured.
Okay, Robert, would you like to talk to me about rehabilitation and the splitting up of the band?
Well, I remember, the only thing I remember about rehab, and I don't remember that much, was that we couldn't take drugs, but they gave us some other drugs instead, so it was all right, really. Just like different colours and shapes, really. But yeah, basically the band split up because the other three guys all turned out to be wankers in the end, and I didn't respect my creative. I was writing songs left, right, and centre, and in other directions that people like and scientists haven't even described yet. I was writing like in different dimensions, man, and they were like, I don't know. Well, Dani was just real quiet. And Dean was just off doing his thing all the time, not paying any attention to me. And then Finn started having a pop at my authority, like when he was saying that I was talking nonsense when I was speaking that language. And when he came out with that, man, I knew I was going to blow my top. And I did. I got very angry with him, and I did end up smashing a bass over his head in Sydney, which was in retrospect probably not a good idea because it was very nice bass, but then again I don't really care about a bass. It looked nice, but they're not an instrument, are they? I mean, Dani did take offence to that, and that's when he kind of stormed off and left the band as well. But you know, I have to think about this a bit. I'm missing something out here.
I mean, I do wonder sometimes if Robert was like, I don't know, tapped into by some kind of invertebrate alien resource maintenance warehouse person, but, you know, he took us in that direction for a while and it kind of fucked us, you know, the sales were plummeting and people were obscured by it, and the whole Japan thing kind of rinsed off pretty bad. So we were chucked into fucking rehab, and well, that was pretty depressing, dark times, you know. I mean, Charlie Horace and that, but Dean wasn't bothered, you know, he was shagging away. Dani was, well, I felt sorry for him because he couldn't get any drink, you know, and the Captain Morgan's guy was outside laughing his head off, but there was nothing else we could do, so I'm pretty sure Zach was trying to help us out from the outside. I mean, we still had like 3 gigs to go to, but the rehab people were pretty determined to keep us inside. They weren't really up for us kind of going out and doing our thing, so.
Well, we caught up with old Tammy, who used to roadie for the band, and he was here to tell us about some of his experiences.
The band were such egomaniacs. I had to see 4 different psychiatrists every hour by the end of it. I really couldn't take it. They were really nasty to me. Sometimes they'd point at me and jibe, and they'd make fun of the fact that I couldn't grow a proper beard, and they'd point at my eyes and say they were squint because one of my eyes was 2.5 degrees higher than the other one, and it was just, I couldn't carry all these amps and things when they were making jokes at me like that, treating me like I was a small cockroach or some other kind of invertebrate. And I dropped the amp on my foot once because I was almost in tears after they said that I looked a bit like Patrick Swayze. I'm not a fan of the man, to be honest, and I didn't like the comparison. And I dropped the amp, and they didn't bat an eyelid when I actually fractured one of my toes. But I got compensation from the band's management, but then, that was about the time that I found them all sleeping when they were meant to be recording, you see, and I thought I'd sneak in and maybe take a few things off them, but I can't help it. I've got a bit of kleptomania, you know. But they woke up and they were quite reprimanding. I was quite frightened. They threw all the food that they were eating at me. I had custard in my ear for 3.5 days, and that was when I had the breakdown, the first breakdown, you know. Now I'm living on a small island and they don't know where I am, so it's all fine. I've just got myself and the seagulls for company, so I'm going to go back there now and watch an episode of Breaking Bad, and then I'm going to fall asleep, and when I wake up, hopefully it'll be another day and I'll never hear anything about their shite music again.
Yeah, here I am, Mike Dreary. I actually sort of owned the venue in Boston when Metapod Uses Harden were playing, and it was just like one of the most pathetic gigs I've ever seen in my entire life. I just don't know where they were at. A lot of expensive equipment got busted, you know, like lights and stuff. Like lights fell from the ceiling and nearly caused the death of one of the audience members. Really, really kind of heavy.
I was in Delhi when they came to play in the Grand Festival of Vishnu, and it was around the time that they were doing the hippie phase, and they decided to come overland from the United Kingdom. But the problem was that when they arrived, they were not interested in anything religious at all. They just wanted to sit on the steps and drink beer like some little teenage boys. And everybody pelted them with food, so they eventually ran away. It was a funny experience for me.
Well, I mean, what can I say about Rehab that the other members haven't already said about Rehab, you know? I mean, I was in my element. I mean, there was a birds just gagging for it and that, you know? I mean, to be honest, I felt a little bit morally objective to the words, or, you know, maybe doing it to some of the men in there, but I mean, I still ploughed in, you know? I mean, a goal's a goal, and I scored many a goal, I tell you that. Even sometimes managed to get some of the other band members in, you know, just jiggity poke, you know, whatever floats your boat. You know, some of them were just sitting aside, you know, that's alright. I'm not naming names or anything, but anyway, we'll get away from the sex for a minute. I mean, I'm just getting a blowjob right now, but it doesn't mean I have to talk about sex at the same time. Easy. Anyway, Rehab, so... Like, you know, there was a lot of drugs before that, obviously, which is why we were in rehab and talking about it now. So sometimes I look at the inside of my eyelids when I was in rehab, and I used to think, you know, why am I even in here? You know, I'm pretty sure that I didn't actually take that much cocaine, but then, you know, denial is positivity towards your actual condition as well. So I suppose I actually probably was just injecting it into my eyeballs a bit too much, maybe. Is that even possible? Was it in syringes, maybe? No, I don't know. No, I was just getting someone... No, I thought someone was talking to me there, but they weren't. It was actually the lack of drugs again. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly real drugs. It was just prescription drugs. But, you know, even when we were in there, you know, me and Finn, and probably, you know, Robert as well, we'd just go up and fucking ching round the back, like, you know, whatever for prescription drugs, just open them up.
So, yes, Metapod Uses Harden. They've had their ups, they've had their downs, they've had their Charlie Browns, but most importantly, they are going to be reuniting at some stage, hopefully coming up in the next year or so, I think. Now, they've had their antics and their shenanigans, but I can't say that I've heard of a band of that genre that has made as many record sales and has played to as many sold-out audiences as Metapod Uses Harden has. So now, here we are to play out with this beautiful song from Wembley Arena called Babies.
This is a song about love. was just a small boy walking down the street with sand between my toes. 'Cause I'd been in the next door neighbour's sandpit eyeing up their teenage daughter. Me and her were gonna make babies. We're gonna have so many motherfucking babies. They're gonna be flying out of her vagina all over the street, down to the seaside. Yeah, yeah. I'm just a small man walking down the road with something in my hair. It's because I was in the bushes with the lady from the back of the door where the library goes down. 'Cause we were making so many babies, so many babies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. We were making so many babies, they'll be flying out of her and into the sea. 'Cause we're gonna need new land masses to put all the babies in. 'Cause we're gonna make a new country where all the babies have me as their father. There's gonna be a new democracy with 53,000 babies, all born from me and 53,000 different women. Yeah. Oh, they'll be all under my control. I will be making so many babies. We're gonna make them all over the world. Oh yeah, we're making so many babies. They'll be flying out from between her legs from her vagina. 'Cause that's what they teach you to call it in school. It's not good to use words like poon or pussy. They're not politically correct, no. But I'm a nice man, no. I say vagina 'cause I'm talking about my babies. They're gonna be under my control. I'll have them marching with the flag of my brand new country. I'm gonna be the master of 1,000,000 babies. Yeah, they're all mine, and so are you, my baby dear. Thank you. Good night, Wembley. And if anyone wants my babies, I'll be in the back of the